and highly acclaimed voice actors in the industry, we are proud to say that she began her college experience at Ohio University. Nancy got her professional start as the voice of Gloria, the animated series Richie Rich. In 1987, she began voicing Bart Simpson for a short animation series featured on The Tracy Ullman Show. In 1989, The Simpsons premiered as a regular half-hour show and is now the longest-running scripted show in TV history.
Я не знаю. Ты можешь говорить?
Bart was not the only character to benefit from her talents. She lends her voice to several of the show's supporting characters and has done voice work for dozens of animated television shows. In addition to her voice and acting work, she has transitioned to producer, starting 2 companies, Cartwright Entertainment Inc. and Sports Blast LLC. She also actively supports many nonprofit organizations that help children and create safer communities. She's received numerous awards and accolades for her work, including Emmy Awards, an Annie Award, a Drama Log Award, and is an inductee into the Ohio Communication Hall of Fame. At this morning's commencement ceremony, she received Ohio University's honorary degree, Doctor of Communication. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Nancy Cartwright.
Which was good compared to my 2 best friends, Faceplant and Groin Tear. I played trumpet in our all-brass marching band and was the top 5 feet. I once got lost in a tuba. But it was the forensics team that really inspired my creativity. I thought it sounded like such a no-brainer. I mean, come on, think about it. You travel around the state, stay in hotels with your classmates, sit by the boy you have a crush on your way to a tournament at 6 o'clock in the morning while you're driving through a snowstorm, hoping desperately the car gets trapped in a snowbank and you're forced to cuddle for warmth for days. And even though it doesn't, you ultimately bring home trophies for first place in humorous interpretation or after dinner speaking. Who wouldn't want to do that? All on the school's dime, mind you. See, in these days, we had inventive old people refusing to pay taxes for schools and colleges. I found my niche in telling children's stories like James Thurber's Many Moons and 13 Clocks. I also did the junior and senior class plays, community theater, and several readers' theater productions, happily cartwheeling from event to event. This was my training. I didn't take any acting classes. I didn't take any voice classes. I just got out there and produced. And with that, I give you lesson number 1. Do what you love. For art, that involves some kind of gun that shoots werewolves and zombies. As for me, fresh out of high school, I was hired at the Dayton-based WING radio station. I'd already gotten a scholarship to go to Ohio University to be on the speech team, so this was a dream come true. Wing Radio was a pop station back then. Disco was big. My hair was bigger. Everyone was doing the Rubik's Cube, which was our iPad. I was hired to fill in for staff who went on vacation, so I learned virtually every aspect of radio production. I did reception, but had way too much fun changing my voice for everybody who called in.
Hello, yes, this is Wing Radio. How may I direct your call?
Okay, now maybe that wasn't exactly professional, but then our station was playing a song called You Sexy Thing by a band called Hot Chocolate. What do you expect? My boss liked the idea of helping out a spunky kid, so the next thing you know, I got to create some voices with the afternoon DJ, right on that radio. See, back in those days, the DJs really hosted the music and came up with themes for their shows. I was on the poolside show with Ken Warren. I played the voice of the part of Lily Pad, the lifeguard for this imaginary pool. Now, Ken would pop in a sound effects tape of somebody diving into the pool, and I would pretend to save someone from drowning. It was all improvised and scary, and I wasn't good at first. A lot of people drowned. But I got better, and it was ridiculously fun. And eventually, we get around to giving the weather and the traffic reports. So, thanks to my boss and Ken, and a ton of Dayton commuters who never knew where the traffic jams were until it was way too late. And to top it off, I got a lot of support from my family and friends, too. So lesson number 2, surround yourself with people who believe in you and your dreams. Now, this is a really good tip. I'm just saying, even though it may sound obvious, sometimes it can be a little challenging to identify who truly supports your dreams and might actually be quietly stopping you from achieving your goals. Do you know what I mean? Do you know anybody like that? I mean, maybe you have a quote friend or even a family member who teases you just for fun, then tells you, I'm just kidding. But then it makes you feel like you're not good enough. Maybe you have someone who says, why don't you, aim for a career that has more stability, something to fall back on? I would reconsider what is a friend. I would. And the point is, be your own counsel. The people who belittle you in your dreams are doing that because they cannot make their own dreams come true. And they're only doing that because it makes them feel better that you do worse. Do you have friends who don't fulfill their obligations? Who make promises but break them or continually do things that make you wonder if they really are a friend? Like the roommate who drinks your milk even though you wrote Nancy's do not drink on all 4 sides at the bottom. Yeah, the girlfriend who drags you to a party and where you don't know anybody there, that she hooks you up with some guy and then disappears with your car, so you have to get a ride home from three guys who belong to a Michigan paramilitary organization. Well, to me, that is no friend. You have the right, and you should have some qualifications about who you are surrounding yourself with. The bottom line is, do you feel better or worse when you're with this person? That's a pretty good yardstick.
Bosom.
Jim Bennett, the president and general manager of Wing, was really a good friend. He continued to be a friend. He knew that I had dreams of doing voices for commercials and cartoons. In fact, one day he introduced me to a woman who was introducing him to music at the Wing radio station. She was from Warner Brothers. And, well, Warner Brothers to me meant Mel Blanc. You know, the voice of Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Sylvester, Tweety Bird. He did dozens of voices. That was a dream of mine, to meet and work with Mel Blanc. I shook hands with this representative, and she gave me her card, and she told me that if I were to write her a letter, she would get it to the right people in the animation department. So I did. I wrote her a letter, and you know what? She was worthy of trust. That's right, she fulfilled her obligations. She loved me, she helped me. She wrote me back, and in the letter was this name, Dawes Butler. Now, I didn't know, I'd never heard that name before, but I was certainly familiar with what he did. He was the voice of Huckleberry Hound, Yogi Bear, Victor McGraw, Ellery Jetson, Bob Louie, Cosmo Hogg, dozens of others. I couldn't believe that there was his phone number listed right there. So I called him. I called him right up. Long distance. Short story, Dawes became my long distance mentor. He would send me scripts in the mail, and I would record my voice on a tape and mail it back to him. He would listen to me and give me a little critique. I was living in Washington Hall, right here, at University when this was going on. He was always positive, always encouraging. So lesson number 3, hitch your wagon to a winner. That's right. Now, when I asked you earlier how many of you know where you're going to be this summer, this is absolutely the right time to do this. Work as an intern for somebody. Fill out every aspect, find every aspect of what he or she does. Run and get coffee. Yes, pick up their dry cleaning, do everything you can, just a little bit more than what's expected. Arrive early, stay late, watch the movie The Devil Wears Prada, and really learn from Anne Hathaway. But more importantly, really observe what is needed and wanted, so you can fill the boots of perhaps someone who is slacking off or not as motivated as yourself. I have found that it's your intention that will carry you far, rather than your ability or your talent. People like to be around others who help others with passion. There's a story about this famous Hollywood producer. One day he was just starting out as the lowliest of PAs, that's a production assistant. His boss sent him to a deli to buy sandwiches for a lunchtime meeting, and when he got there, the deli was a little bit slow. Staffed by idiots, probably aspiring reality show celebrities. And so this assistant just walked behind the counter and started making sandwiches. He did. He got them all done, went back to his boss in perfect time. Bad sandwiches, great career move. In every endeavor I undertake, I approach it with the intention that I want to be a professional at that subject. And by that I mean I really study the subject and I'll work hard at it. I'll always have the goal in mind that I will be able to deliver a professional product, whether it's for a new voice or a new concept for an animated television show or driving a race car at 158.2 miles an hour, mind you, or even being a mom. You know, being a dilettante, it won't cut it. Especially when there are so many others out there who want to work. So don't just dabble in it. In other words, lesson number 4, be a professional.
Bosom.
Okay, back to the future. Spring 1987. I now live in Hollywood. I'm on 8 Saturday morning cartoon shows. I own my own